I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Every step forward feels like a fight. Shadows of doubt creep in my mind, but I refuse to surrender. I must find a way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. The weight of the world crushes me down. Fear and uncertainty all around. But I deep find inner strength to face the trials length by length. A way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes, like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my heart reborn. I've walked through fire and emerged scarred, but wiser, stronger, and unmarred. My existence is a test of will, of trials overcome, of a soul made bold. The weight of the world's above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Oh, made bold. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my spirit unborn. I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Day to day, nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help, but no one hears me. One day I fear I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace.
Hey, greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT Post-Show Rewind. It is May 20th, 2025. I am Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster, here with little Molly Holly, the long-haired chihuahua, my little manager, valet. Actually, I've been told it's the other way around. I am the Luther to her Tony Storm. But guys, thank you all for joining us here live tonight to talk some NXT. It will be a solo flight tonight. Well, I guess not. I mean, Molly's here. Molly, honey, we have talked about how it is rude to yawn when we're talking and doing plugs. Okay? All right. But guys, we're going to talk about some NXT tonight. We had a heck of a show. It's the go home show. tonight for Battleground, taking place this Sunday. And you are licking the air. Look at you. Okay, it's good taste in air tonight. But Battleground is this Sunday. And guys, before I can get into all the fun tonight, I do have to give a shout out on the web to us on the web. That is dirtsheetradio.com for all your professional wrestling, pop culture, entertainment needs. Check it out. Make it your homepage. Look at it multiple times a day, just like we do. Not because we are legally obligated to do so, but because we do, in fact, love to do it. Y'all, we had a good show tonight. Solid go home show. I mean, it's NXT. I'm kind of a homer for that, and I'm always going to probably feel it was a pretty solid show. But it was good. Good flow, good pace tonight. We had a good bit of content advertised ahead of this evening's show. Triple threat match there with Javon Evans, Shawn Legacy, and Ashante the Adonis with contendership implications on the line. Kelani, Jordan, and Zaria, again, with contendership implications on the line. Not really for Zaria if she were to win necessarily. It was just that Kelani would get a title shot against Soruka if she won that. Chase U, the new Chase U, taking on the returning OTM. Josh Briggs taking on Shawn Spears of the Information Bush. And we were going to have a concert of Joe Hendry and a rap performance from Trick Williams, guys. So, let's get into it. Molly, you ready? You ready? I'm ready. Let's do this, guys. All right, so this evening's program came to us live from the Performance Center, and Vic Joseph broke down the week's program as wrestlers filed into the building, as is the I don't want to say tradition now, but kind of just the way they do things. It's that part of that real sports feel that they like to go for and achieve here on NXT. But as we were having everyone enter the building there, we saw Ricky Saints exiting a large SUV. He wasn't driving himself either. I don't know if that's normal for Ricky. I don't know if Ricky never drives. Does Ricky Saints have a driver's license? Have we seen Ricky drive on TV? See, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this. That's not something I keep track of. I don't, match times, sure. Yeah, but whether or not Ricky Saints is driven on WWE television, I'm not certain. Nonetheless, Ricky was delivered to the parking area. Maybe it's because the parking lot's so dangerous. And Ethan Page has been jumping him left and right. So maybe he figured, skip the parking lot, go straight as close to backstage as I can, and then walk straight out to the ring. And that is exactly what Ricky Saints did. He made his entrance to the ringside area to do some colorful commentary during tonight's opening match, which was that triple threat between Javon Evans, Evolve's Shawn Legacy, and broken-hearted but moving forward, Ashante the Adonis. And that, what looks to be a bathrobe, Booker T claimed was chinchilla at first. He said that is chinchilla, which I believe Vic Joseph's response was chinchilla my ass, which chinchilla my ass should be on a t-shirt, honestly. But it wasn't chinchilla. And then as he was getting in the ring, Book then declared that it was actually mink. Again, God, could you imagine the uproar that, modern society would be in if a wrestler came to the ring actually wearing legitimate fur? Yeah, they would be all on Twitter. But the match started pretty abruptly with Ashante the Adonis throwing his not actually mink or chinchilla coat at Javon Evans. And they were off to the races from there, guys. This was a fantastic opening match. Just bell-to-bell action. Just amazing. I mean, you know what you're going to get with Javon Evans. Javon, he could, give movement to a broom. And Ashante the Adonis was there for what probably a lot of people suspected Shawn Legacy was there for, which was to, eat the pinfall. But that wasn't what Shawn Legacy was there for. No. Shawn Legacy was there to actually end up with the win tonight. The upset victory, in my opinion, 11 minutes, 30 seconds to that match. And he will move on to get a title shot against the North American champion, Ricky Saint. Speaking of which, during the match, Ricky was doing commentary, and bam, here comes Ethan Page, jumping him from behind, coming through the crowd there. And the two brawled and brawled, and this caused a little bit of distraction there, but that really didn't, heavily play into the finish here. But good win here for Shawn Legacy, getting some great exposure on NXT television from Evolve. I think would undoubtedly the biggest win that he's had here. But yeah, this was great. Fantastic opening match. Like I said, he's in line for a North American Championship match, but he won't be getting it quite immediately, or maybe as quickly as he would have thought or hoped. A little more on that later this evening. Ava became Big Mean Mommy Ava, and she yelled and did things her way. But from there, we went to the backstage area where we saw Mr. Stone and Stevie Turner and Ava. They were praising Shawn Legacy as well as Evolve in general. This led over to Ava, kind of panning with the camera to the winners of LFG. Spoiler alert, if you haven't caught up on LFG, but Tyra May Steele and Jasper Troy officially getting their NXT contracts. Tyra May Steele, giddy with excitement. And for those of you that watched CJ and I when we did the Level Up adventure, you've heard us talk about Tyra May Steele on that as well. She was a Level Up regular. And Jasper Troy, hell of a look. Just an absolute beast looking of a dude in the ring. He's solid too. He's got a good base. A good base in the ring. We'll see what they do. I wonder if I don't know. We'll see. Sorry, I had a cat run across, guys. It's a zoo in this house, but he was less giddy with his NXT contract, and he was a little more aggressive here, saying that he would make an impact tonight on NXT, and we would see a little later tonight what he exactly had in mind for that. All right. From there, we had a promo, pre-taped vignette on Jordynne Grace. Solid stuff here. These pre-taped vignettes are always good. No real complaints or major notes here. It was just hyping her match with Stephanie Vacker coming up this Sunday at Battleground, where honestly I kind of look for Steph to I say Steph like we're friends or something, sorry, but I look for Stephanie Vacker to probably drop the championship to Jordynne Grace there, because she's basically on the main roster as it is. I mean, definitely has one boot on the main roster without question. But all right, so from there we went to the backstage area where we had Stephanie Vacker and Lola Vice watching on a monitor that promo. Stephanie has her attention on this Sunday without question. And as she left the scene, we pan over, and Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley and Jacy Jayne approaching Lola here. And they share some unkind words with one another. And this continues to sow the seeds of division between Fallon Henley and Jacy Jayne. I think that breakup is certainly imminent, especially after what happened here tonight. But this did set up for a match later tonight between Lola and Fallon, as Fallon did kind of assert herself as the former champion, and that incensed Jacy a little bit, and Jacy kind of pushed Fallon into this matchup. So yeah, we would get that later tonight. Coming back into the Performance Center proper here, we were ready to roll with Trick Williams' rap performance here tonight. This was a lot of fun. This was catchy. It was a good time. Ended up being a track called Average Joe. I will not attempt to repeat or rap any of the bars that he did here tonight. But no, this was good. It was a lot of fun. Um, they dedicated a lot of time to in ring and kind of promo and vignette segments here tonight, which is understandable. It is a go home show. We're doing a lot of hype for a big PLE this Sunday. I mean, a PLE that's going head to head with an AEW pay per view. So I mean that's understandable that you're going to try to put as much hype as you possibly can into this Sunday. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and he was able to perform his song "Average Joe" uninterrupted here tonight. And I say that he performed it uninterrupted because that's going to come back a little bit later. Okay, courtesy was given, but then it wasn't. So we'll see. After his performance, we did see backstage that tuning up his guitar there was Joe Hendry, and Joe was watching Trick's performance as well, and he didn't look too impressed or concerned. Really, did the TNA champion. Alrighty. Moving forward through the program, it was our second match on the card tonight. We had Shawn Spears of the Information Bush, or the Culling, if you like, making his entrance to the ring here for his match with Josh Briggs. Now back on his own, back on his lonesome is Josh Briggs. Poor Josh, all alone again. With the Yoshiki Inamura heading back to Japan, sadly. He's gonna make a go of it here. So he's angry, guys. He's angry with Shawn Spears and really the rest of the Information Bush, as Brooks Jensen, a member of said Information Bush, was another former tag team partner of Brooks Jensen. And this was a pretty solid match. Not super long. We just went about 5.5 minutes here. It was looking pretty bleak for Shawn Spears. Briggs got a lot of the offense here, dominated much of the match, and when it looked like he was about to seal the deal, cinch in the win, there was a bit of interference on behalf of Izzy Dame, and that caused the opening for Shawn Spears to get the roll-up win here and defeat Josh Briggs. Guys, Briggs was pretty upset by this. And after the match, he I don't want to say anti-heroically. I'm not going to say heelishly, because I mean, my God, the numbers game was against him here. But he jumped Shawn Spears after the match, going at him hard, and then, like I said, the numbers game, easy peasy, catching up on him, and he just got shellacked by the Information Bush or the Calling, whatever, until the save was made by none other than the tag team champions, Hank and Tank, running down to make the save here. And they had mentioned last week to Josh Briggs that, despite him being all on his lonesome here, that they did and will have his back. So, they make the save there. And this would lead to an announcement about a match coming up this weekend involving these 6 individuals. But we'll talk about that little bit later. But yeah, again, guys, I like Josh Briggs. I just wish that they could find the right lane for him. It looked like he was going to break out into a singles area after the split between him and Jensen and Fallon Henley. And we had that big endorsement from JBL, and he just never really got there. And then they team him up with Yoshiki Inamura. And that was, on a timer, as he was this kind of guest guesting at NXT from Noah, and he was always going to go back in a relatively short amount of time, which is unfortunate. But that had him in a tag situation again, and then not. So they just it's a lot of start and stop, unfortunately, with Josh Briggs. And again, he's got a good look. He's not awful on the mic. He's not the absolute best guy at NXT on the mic, but he's not bad. He can cut a decent promo, and I hope that they can find a good, solid place for him in the singles division. But yeah, good match here. Like I said, this wasn't his night, but like again, he's in a multi-team situation again here with Hank and Tank. But moving on, we'll see what happens with Briggs in the future. But we were back to the backstage here in the women's locker room, where we had Kelani Jordan having a discussion with Sol Ruka and Zaria ahead of Kelani and Zaria's match tonight. Again, the implication here being if Kelani beats Zaria, she gets to face Sol Sunday for the NXT Women's North American Championship. It's interesting this setup, because that's really more of a heel thing. Like, go through my buddy, go through my heavy if you want to get to me. But, Zaria's, Sol's friend, and she's, she likes to fight people. So it makes sense from that perspective. Um, but yeah, so just some trash talk ahead of the match tonight. Right before the break, we had Chase U backstage prepping for their match against OTM tonight, against the returning OTM tonight. Backstage after the break, we had Tatum Paxley looking sad, very, very sad by some of the shipping containers back there, and she was approached by Thea Hale, and she told Thea that she doesn't understand what it's like to be left excuse me, completely alone and to lose everyone that was close to her and her friends. And Thea said that she actually does, and of course Thea does. She lost her Chase U companions and friends, and Tatum thought that maybe she was going to find a friend here, and then bam, Thea Hale just piped away by Jada Parker, laying her ass out. Jada telling her that maybe next time she should worry about protecting herself. And Tatum thought that she had a friend here in Jada. And Jada, no, just said no, and then made fun of Paxley as she walked away, meanly, cruelly, heelishly. But, so yeah, there is definitely some bad blood and unfinished business here between Thea Hale and Jada Parker. Look forward to a program between them, and I'm sure that Tatum's going to be wormed in here somehow because she just wants some friends, guys. Tatum Paxley is just looking for some friends. All right, so back in the Performance Center, we had the returning OTM making their way to the ring here. Chase U, we kind of heard the tail end of their entrance, but they were pretty much in the ring without an entrance here tonight, which did not bode well. For Kale Dixon and fourth generation superstar Uriah Connors. Lucien Price and Bronco Nima, they made pretty quick work of Chase U 2.0 here this evening, getting the win here tonight in just 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Andre Chase just despondent. Just absolutely just aghast that his new pupils could not pull out a victory here tonight. This looks like a Renaissance painting, by the way. I'm just putting that out there. But look, Chase U will recover from this, and they will move forward and continue to improve as we go on this beautiful journey with Kale Dixon, fourth generation superstar Uriah Connors, and of course the greatest of all professors, Andre Chase. And this made sense. Andre was concerned last week when he found out that the boys got themselves into this match with OTM. They made it very apparent that they were just going to get stomped by OTM. And that's pretty much what happened here tonight. That makes sense. They were really trying to pump OTM up with those vignettes that they did last week. And I think the week before, I think they did a couple weeks of vignettes. So it made sense that they were going to get the win here tonight. And this isn't going to hurt Kale and Uriah. They're in Chase U. They're learning. So it's okay for them to take some losses here week after week. I mean, hell, the last time that Kale had a match on television, I think, was when Shrick Williams beat him in like 4 seconds. So this is a vast improvement. So I mean, really, when you think about it from that perspective, that he went from a 4-second match to 3 minutes and 10 seconds in a tag match, that's already like really great dividends from Andre Chase's tutelage, right? I mean, the math is mathin' on that one. I do believe. But OTM, the victors here tonight. And ahead of the break, we saw Miles Bourne looking very dapper in a suit, walking backstage, making his way out to the ring. And that would lead us to Miles Bourne making his way out to the ring for the advertised face-to-face between he and Obafemi, whom he will be meeting this Sunday to challenge for Obafemi's NXT championship. The two shared a really good back and forth promo here. Oba is just so good at really everything that it takes to be a professional wrestler here, but he's so good on the mic. And guys, I said this last week. Miles Bourne he's just breaking out. And I know that a little bit of the boost of his popularity here absolutely came from the fact that yes, he resembles a young Randy Orton. He moves a little bit like Randy Orton. He's doing some of Randy Orton's moves. These things happen. However, he is not Randy Orton. He is Miles Bourne, and he's good, guys. He's really good in the ring. He's coming along super quickly, and he's good on the mic. This promo from him was heartfelt. It was genuine. He comes across just as a real guy, as someone that grew up with the hearing disability that he suffers from, facing the challenges that's brought him in his life and making it to NXT to get this title shot, and he's wanting to be an inspiration, and this is good. I do still think this is going to lead to either him breaking away from the No Quarter Catch crew or Charlie Dempsey turning heel and breaking away from the NQCC, and Miles and Tavion and Rin Sinclair continuing on that way. But yeah, I liked this a lot. Again, just heartfelt, genuine. He's not going to beat Obafemi. He's not going to beat Oba come Sunday, but they're making you think that there's a chance. They're making you believe that he could beat Obafemi, and that's the best you can ask for here. He's going to have some really good hope spots. I think that they are going to have a stellar match Sunday. And I said this last week, and I will say it again. I do believe that not just NXT management, but WWE brass in general, they're probably going to be watching this pretty closely. I think this is going to be one of those defining matches for Miles Bourne. But as the promo was going, there was a bit of an interference here, as Jasper he made that impact that he was stating he was going to make, jumping and knocking down the NXT champion Obafemi. They brawled here briefly, and then he as he ran off, oh man, this is unfortunate. He kind of tripped over the stairs, guys, as he was making his getaway. So made a splash, made an impact. Tripped a little, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm sure no one will focus on that on the internet, right? Because no one ever on the internet focuses on when a wrestler, f's up. But he was offered to be helped to his feet by Miles. He was not happy with that, and then Miles picked up the championship before handing it over to the ruler, Obafemi. From there in the ring, we transitioned very quickly backstage where we saw Ricky Saints shouting, surrounded by security, shouting at All Ego Ethan Page as Ava tried to, bring some decorum to this situation. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Yes, yes, yes. Shawn Legacy is technically the number one contender for that North American Championship held by Ricky Saints. But Saints and Page, they want to have this out. They want it done. And so Ava said, because she can make this decision next week on NXT television, it is going to be All Ego Page and All Ego Ethan Page. Geez, guys, sorry. And Ricky Saints for that North American Championship. So looking forward to that next week. Okay. Speaking of which, that was next week's show. If I'm not mistaken, is the one that was moved back to the Performance Center. Not great sales, unfortunately. I guess for the venue that they were booked to run. But yeah. So, but next week we will be getting a North American Championship match. So it's not going to be on the pay per view Sunday. Sorry, PLE Sunday. But we will get that as one of the advertised matches next week. All right. From there, we had Lola Vice making her entrance for her match with Fallon Henley. And then we cut to commercial, and then NXT did that thing that NXT does that I'm not a big fan of. But we had the progressive spotlight, and this was on Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT. And this was widely hyping his match with Stacks coming up this Sunday. This is a solid promo. Tony's good at this character. He's good on the mic, and he's always compelling when he speaks. And he's calling out Stacks. He's going to take him down this Sunday for Destroy and the Family. This doesn't answer a lot of questions. Obviously, they showed a little bit of a montage of what Stacks has done. A little Goodfellas-ish here. But they didn't really give a bead on the whereabouts or safety of Luca Crucifino or Adriana Rizzo. So still not really sure what's going on there. But I presumably Luca is buried in the desert. That's what I assume happened with him. But they didn't really ever say what particularly, if anything, happened to Adriana Rizzo. But all right, so from there, we were back at the Performance Center where Fallon Henley was making her entrance with her Fatal Influence compadre for now, JC Jane. Great match here tonight between Lola Vice and Fallon Henley. Lola doesn't get, I think, as much credit as she deserves for how good she is in the ring. She's come along really well. She's believable in the ring. Those hits, those fists are they don't lie. As as her t-shirts say. But no, this was a really good match, and it was looking like it could go either way. But right around 11 minutes and 25 seconds, there is a miscommunication between Fallon Henley and JC Jane here, as JC tries to cause a distraction, and Lola gets out the way, and then boom, collision is had. Fallon is aghast, and this led to her taking that wicked backhand from Lola Vice, and Lola getting the win here tonight. This led to an outside the ring argument, screaming match between JC and Fallon. Yeah, guys, I think the breakup is imminent between JC Jane and Fallon Henley, and I don't know what that necessarily means for either one of them. Thing is, they're Fatal Influence, but Fallon was still widely a singles wrestler within the Fatal Influence workings. So do they split and both stay heel, or do they split and you turn Fallon back to a face? do you turn JC Jane face? I don't really think you would want to turn JC face because I don't think JC's a really great face. No offense, JC Jane, but much better heel. And also, too, she's just not trustworthy as a face. The last time she turned face, she ended up swindling Chase U out of a lot of money after, of course, saving Chase U. So, I guess she still did something nice when you break that down. But nonetheless, yeah, they're not long for this brand as a team, as a pairing. But we'll see what happens, though. But yeah, guys, it's looking fatal for Fatal Influence. Goodness. All right. So from there, we head back to the backstage where Stephanie Vacker was being interviewed by Kelly Kincaid, and she talked about her history as a wrestler and the journey around the world that brought her to NXT before shifting. Her line focus to her challenger this Sunday, Jordan Grace. Great interview here. Good sit down. I like Kelly Kincaid in these, and Stephanie Vacker. Just so good, so good. I've said this before. I will say it again. And she said this was one of the reasons why she wanted to go to NXT. But her English has it's amazing. Like it has just improved so swiftly, and she's gotten such a good handle on the pacing for her promos and speaking both in front of a live audience as well as doing these. I assume this is pre-taped. I can't imagine they actually did this live. But yeah, really dug this. After that sit down, we had Kelani Jordan making her entrance ahead of the break. And then we came back from the break and we did again that thing that NXT does that I don't like that they do, but hey, I don't book it. So what you going to do about it? We had a promo from Dark State, which was good that we had a promo from Dark State, which everyone got some shine in this. Everyone got to speak. But Dark State was suspiciously absent from last week's NXT, which was kind of odd as they'd been making appearances and getting some licks in on folks pretty much every week since their debut. But yeah, they weren't there last week, but this week they made up for that a bit with this. And yeah, this established that Dion Lennox, again of NXT Level Up at one point in time, he is kind of being positioned as the leader of the Dark State. So that's good. We're getting a little more definition as to the pecking order, inner workings of this stable. Solid promo here. And like I said, everybody got everybody got a little bit of mic time in this promo here, and everyone did a good job with it. I'll say it again. I say it 1,000 times. These pre-taped vignettes for NXT, always good. Always solid. All right, folks. So, making her entrance with her good friend, Sol Ruca. She's also the North American champion. We had Zaria coming out to face Kelani Jordan. Again, hanging in the balance here was a shot against Sol Ruca for that North American Championship. Again, a shot for Kelani. They never really established that Zaria would be getting a shot if she were to win this match. But yeah, so I guess defending her friend's honor here. But yeah, good match. Kelani, she's great, guys. She works a great match when it's someone that can match her speed, that can go with a more acrobatic style. But she's also very good in these situations where she is paired with someone that's a strength-based wrestler, because she can move really well and really athletically. She can, get a lot of, height in her jumps and her movements. I mean, those German suplexes that Zaria threw at her right off the rip in the match looked like $1,000,000 because she's able to really create a lot of fluid motion when she leaps from place to place. So yeah, a lot of those strength spots from Zaria just came across even better looking because it was Kelani Jordan taking those moves. Yeah, guys, they maybe went to the miscommunication well a little too much here tonight. as that's kind of where we headed to here this evening as well. 10 minutes, 32 seconds. Again, bit of a little oops-a-doodle here. Sol Ruka taking a bump there, and this causing a distraction for Zaria and Kelani Jordan getting the win. Yeah, guys, finish aside, I understand they had to get Kelani the win here as that's the match they were going to have Sunday, but I wish they could have just figured out something a little bit different from the finish because again, this we kind of had this already tonight. So like the way they set it up was Soul was giving Zaria kind of a pep talk, and Kelani hit into her and Zaria, and that knocked Zaria into Soul, which threw Soul off the apron. Yeah, and so roll up win here. Again, I get that you had to get Kelani the win because that's the match that you want to go with Sunday. Again, really looking forward to it. I mean, my God, the last time that Sol Ruka and Kelani Jordan faced off for the North American Championship, well, when Kelani had that, I mean, that was a hell of a match. That was arguably Kelani Jordan's best match as North American champion, and so I really look forward to what they're going to do Sunday at Battleground. Not really sure who wins that. I can see it really honestly going either way. But I've enjoyed Soul's run here, and I feel like they're building to Zaria eventually taking that belt off of her. And I hope that it doesn't lead to them splitting, though. I would like to see them actually work a program where you've got a team, friends, allies that are both faces. And again, I'm not usually behind building to a relatively big face versus face match because you're making people pick sides when they want to cheer for both of them, and that's not nice. It's that doesn't generate the most heat for something. However, I every once in a while it's okay and it works, but like just let them stay friends, let them have a match and keep that mutual respect and friendship, and let it be. But yeah, I think that's kind of the general direction they're heading. But yeah, Kelani and Soul, they are going to put on an absolute smoke show this weekend. I mean, I would look for them to possibly steal the show. I think there's a really, really good chance of that happening. But so before the main event segment here tonight, yeah, guys, that was the last match, by the way. I mean, 5 matches though on TV, not too terrible. Let's see what's that? If I did the math right, and I say if because well, I was an English major, and math was never my strong suit. I'm no Scott Steiner when it comes to math. But if I did do my math correct here tonight regarding the bell-to-bell time, we're looking at about 42 minutes and 8 seconds, which not terrible, I guess, for 2 hours of television. And again, this was a go-home show, so it was to be expected they were going to have a fair number of promos and vignettes and hype segments. And yeah, we ended on a hype segment. But before we got to that, we did have a quick rundown of the card that we are getting this Sunday. For the NXT Championship, of course, we will have Obafemi taking on Miles Bourne. They announced in 6-man tag action the Information Bush as a 3-man team, of course, with Izzy Dame at their side in their corner. We have Shawn Spears, Brooks Jensen, and Nico Vance taking on Josh Briggs with his teammates in this match, the NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank and Hank. That should be solid. That'll probably either be the opener or the breather. No disrespect, but that's probably where we're going to be because there's a lot of heavy hitters on this card. Also, for the NXT Women's Championship, Jordan Grace and Stephanie Vacker. As I said earlier, I kind of look for Jordan to get the win there on that. And I just talked about this a bit, so I won't go into how forward to I am looking to this. But how forward to I am looking to this, my God, it's getting late over here on the East Coast, guys. But very hyped for this. Ruka defending her North American Championship against Kelani Jordan. We also have the Dawn of NXT taking on Stax. This is almost a blood feud. I feel like this should have some sort of stipulation to it. Considering the damage in hell that chanting Stax Lorenzo has caused, but now it's just a regular match. If this starts with a collar elbow tie up, I'm going to scream though. Okay, irks me when things like that happen. And guys, and of course, also as the last segment here tonight is hyping, we have for the TNA Championship, Joe Hendry taking on Trick Williams. And yeah, guys, that is going to take us into the main event segment here we had tonight. We came into the ring with Joe Hendry's entrance music still playing, with Joe sitting center ring, holding a guitar, that beautiful TNA Championship draped, I actually think on a guitar stand. That looks like, yeah, it is. That's another guitar stand, which is actually clever. I like that. Pretty solid. But yeah, this led into the Joe Hendry concert portion of this evening, and Hendry did establish that this is the first time that the NXT faithful have been treated to a Joe Hendry concert live here at the Performance Center, and he was happy to do it again. And he sang a song that derided Trick, and it was a lot of fun. It was catchy. It was as all of his songs are, and of course the refrain here being that Trick is Mello's bitch. You used to say whoop that Trick, or you say whoop that Trick, but you're Mello's bitch. And the crowd gleefully sang along and chanted with this. So Joe is still singing the song here. And this is why I mentioned this earlier, that Trick performed his rap unheeded, unfettered, without interruption. Well, no, Joe Hendry was not allotted that same courtesy, ladies and gentlemen. No, as Trick Williams, rude, he interrupted Joe Hendry, coming out complaining about the song, saying that Joe was digging up things from the past, regarding him being Mello's psychic sidekick as well. It was, they even showed some old footage of Trick during that time in the he and Mello's run together in NXT. But yeah, Trick wasn't having. He was upset, and again, heel, I get it, but rude, interrupting Joe Hendry during his performance when Joe Hendry did no such thing to Trick Williams, and this led to the two brawling, and Joe very quickly here got the upper hand, breaking that guitar over him and nailing a big choke slam, laying out Trick Williams. Kind of ending his song here. He picked up the mic, finishing it, and at the end of the day, Hendry is the champion of TNA. And that is what took us off the air. Joe Hendry standing tall over Trick Williams. So, Sunday night, they're going to be facing off one-on-one for that TNA championship. And, with Joe standing tall here, if the booking history of WWE is any indication, it's looking like Trick Williams might actually win the TNA championship Sunday night at Battleground. Mac and I talked about last week the possibility of this happening. I think this is it, guys. I think this is when we're going to see that inter-brand, that inter-promotional title change happen, and Trick Williams will probably do a pretty good run over on TNA, and then he'll put somebody over in a big way. Because that's what that's about. At the end of the day, this partnership is making everybody look good and raising the boats there. The tide raises all boats, as they say, right? But yeah, so I would say, just based off of that, good evening, welcome. But I would say, based off of that, we're probably looking at a Hendry loss to Trick Williams here. Again, that's purely speculation on this hipster's part, but that's just my feeling, guys. So Yeah. So you're real quick here before I get into the megastars and jobbers of the night. Since I went ahead and said, kind of my feelings on Trick and Joe there, I'll just kind of give my real quick breakdown predictions here. So Tony D and Stacks, I'm feeling Stacks here, and the reason that I'm feeling Stacks over Tony D is I think that the missing Luca Crucifino, if he doesn't just end up on Evolution, and the missing Adriano Rizzo, I think they are going to return during that match, and I think that they are going to. I think they're going to leave the gun and take the cannoli. If you know what I mean, and I think you do, ladies and gentlemen. I think they're going to turn on Tony D and side with Stacks, and Stacks will elevate himself from underboss to the head of the new heel family. And I don't know what that means for Tony D. I don't know if that means he's main roster bound or if they'll find something else for him in NXT. But I would think if this goes the way I'm feeling it's going to go, there's not really a place for him in NXT anymore. And Tony D is as ready as he's going to be if you want to do something with him on the main roster. So we'll see Sunday. The 6-man tag here, I don't know. Maybe we turn Josh Briggs heel, and he just double clotheslines Hank and Tank, and he sides with the information bush, or maybe he just turns heel and sides with no one at all. But I feel that the information bush, the calling, the educational shrub, they're probably going to go over here. They're getting defined down real quick with losses. And if you don't want that to happen, if you don't want them to just come across as an abject job squad, then they can't really lose Sunday night. They have to get that win. And I've said this before. I'm not historically a Shawn Spears guy or a Ty Dillinger guy, whatever. I was really not a Ty Dillinger guy, but I've never really been into him. But this is working for me. I've enjoyed this character. I like the cult leader, gimmick that he's doing. I'm here for it. I think it works for him. I think it's a good angle for him. That being said, they need the win here Sunday. Um, yeah, I just feel like it's bad news bears for him. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know. Kelani and Soul. God, man, no matter who wins here, we're all going to have a darn good time. We're all going to have a fantastic time with this one. It's going to be just, again, I think this really has the potential to be the absolute just show stealer of a match Sunday night. I I feel like it's going to be Soul again for the reasons I stated earlier, that I think they're building to a match between her and Zaria again, hopefully as friends, as buddies, as allies that can feud over a championship, have mutual respect, and still be groovy with one another at the end of the day. So that is my hopes there. But so I think Soul is going to retain there. When it comes to Stephanie Vacker and Jordan Grace, guys, again, I feel that we're looking at a Jordan Grace victory Sunday night. Stephanie Vacker is basically one boot on the main roster. I know that Booker T is just going to be absolutely devastated when Stephanie Vacker makes her full-time move to the main roster. Because, he'll probably save a little bit on his blood pressure meds because, my goodness, he goes through them. But yeah, he's going to be devastated when she's gone. But I really do feel that she's on her way up there, and she's making regular appearances on Raw, and we're going to pop that title on Jordan Grace, and she can have a good, strong, healthy run with it. We'll see what we do with it from there. And I think that takes us up to NXT Championship. Miles Bourne of the No Quarter Catch crew getting a shot at Oba Femi's championship. It's going to be a good match. Miles is really good. He's come along so quickly. He's got a good ground game. He's got a good power game for his size as well. And yeah, people like to chant Baby Randy. Yeah, he hits that power slam very similar to Randy Orton. Yes, he can hit an RKO as well, but he is not Randy Orton. He is Miles effing Bourne, and he can't hear the hate, y'all. And I think it's going to be a good match. Again, Oba's going to retain. I would be very, very surprised and very shocked if Miles Bourne were to win the championship. I think there's going to be several spots where it looks like Miles could. I think they might even go the route of having Charlie Dempsey cost Miles Bourne the match, which would, of course, just absolutely plunge Charlie Dempsey into the heeliest of heel territory, which I think they need to do. I think that's a great path for Charlie. He can start calling himself Charles Dempsey after that. He won't be a Chuck. People call him Chuck. He gets real pissed off, starts breaking wrists and forearms. But yeah, so I do think that they could go that route, and it's kind of my loose, fantasy booking prediction, I guess, is that Charlie will cost Miles Bourne that championship opportunity. But regardless, it's gonna be a hell of a match, and I do very, very much look forward to it. But guys, yeah, that's NXT in a nutshell here tonight. And that's going to take us to the weekly tradition of the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT Jobber of the Night. Where's my sad trumpet? No, nothing spared at the budget here with the sound effects. Guys, my jobber of the night, as written here in the pages of Hipster, as I like to call this notebook. I'm kidding. I've never called it that before just now. But it's the heartbroken, the sad, the lonely, the quite possibly left on red, the wearing a bathrobe that is neither mink nor chinchilla, Ashante, the Adonis. Yeah, guys, it ain't a good look for Ashante. He's dumped. He's left laying. He can't get a date. He's getting no matches on Contender, which is really saying something because like the Performance Center is basically an aphrodisiac. Like it's nothing but chocolate covered strawberries and oysters down there apparently, because all the Performance Center does is hook people up. But Ashante, no, he's all lonely and sad, and he lost to an Evolve wrestler. Shawn Legacy looked damn good in that match, though. So no disrespect in that regard. But from, kind of that kayfabe perspective, he lost to an Evolve guy tonight. So nothing's going right for Ashante, the Adonis. Oh, this is Celeste, for those of you wondering. But yeah, poor Ashante. He is the jobber of the night. He doesn't have mink. He doesn't have chinchilla, which is probably for the best, because people would be very angry if he did. But yeah, sorry, buddy. You're my jobber of the night. Oh, and there went Celeste. She becomes liquid and just there she went. But to happier places, we're going to talk about tonight's megastar of the night. Guys, this was a actually, it was a kind of a tough decision tonight. There was a lot of I was late with my own sound effects. This was a tough decision tonight. There was a lot of good wrestling. Like I said, we a little over 40 minutes of bell to bell action, but a couple matches that went over that 10-minute mark, and that good stuff here tonight. But I have to give the megastar of the night here to the upset victory of Shawn Legacy from Evolve. And he will be getting a future North American Championship match. It's going to be either Ricky Sainz or Ethan Page. Not really sure whom it will be. We'll find out when that time comes. But Legacy looked great in this triple threat tonight. And again, I mean, you're in the ring there with Javon Evans, so it's hard to not look great. But Javon aside, Shawn just came across believable in this. His spots looked good, and I look forward to him getting some more time on NXT television and seeing what he does at Evolve. Yeah, so it's interesting. Both my megastar and my jobber of the night came from tonight's opening match, which I also think was probably match of the night tonight as well. Just absolute great action bell to bell for that opener. But yeah, Shawn Legacy tonight. He is the pro wrestling hipster megastar of the night for Dirt Sheet Radio NXT Rewind. I dig him, guys. God. And if you're not watching Evolve, if you have the time, do it. I know. There is so much professional wrestling on every week. I mean, my God, every night of the week is basically new wrestling. But it's on Tubi, it's on YouTube. It's an easy watch. Good times. And the LFG is over. So if you were watching LFG, now you don't have LFG to watch. So you can fill that void in your developmental life with with Evolve. But guys, that's tonight's program. And I want to thank everyone tonight that tuned in live. I appreciate the hell out of y'all. It means the world to me that you guys tune in just to listen to me prattle on about NXT, especially when it's just me by myself, guys. I appreciate the hell out of you because I know it probably gets a little boring to just hear me go on and on about pro wrestling. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you had a good time listening to me talk about NXT tonight, I got good news for you. Dirt Sheet Radio isn't just about NXT. That'd be weird. Dirt Sheet Radio is here pretty much every night of the week, guys. Professional wrestling never stops, and DSR is always on the air. We are here Monday nights to break down Monday Night Raw. We're obviously here Tuesdays to talk about NXT. Wednesday nights, you can check out the DSR flagship program, which also will include the recap of AEW. You get 2 shows for the price of 1, which is free. Pretty good deal. Thursday nights, be sure to check out the TNA Impact show, which is our sister program. I like to think of it that way for NXT. And on Friday nights, that is, of course, made for SmackDown or SmackSound, if you like. And on the weekends, guys, when we can, CJ and I like to bring the Weekend Wrestling Roundup to y'all. But every single Sunday, the 3NT crew bring you the week of wrestling in only the way they can and looking damn good while they do it. So be sure to check out the 3NT crew every single week. And guys, this weekend is NXT Battleground is on Sunday, but also AEW is also on Sunday. So I'm not really sure what the deal is, because like with Double or Nothing being Sunday night, with Battleground being Sunday night, I don't know if we'll both be doing recap shows. I think AEW is probably going to be doing the recap. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do a pre-show or maybe a watch-along. We'll figure it out. But regardless, guys, follow Dirt Sheet Radio on all social media platforms at Dirt Sheet Radio at DSR. And guys, after you follow Dirt Sheet Radio everywhere, please give me a follow. It's The Pro Wrestling Hipster over on Facebook, where you can see me doing silly memes, mostly NXT talk, and hanging out with Molly here. But guys, thank you again so much for tuning in live. We will see you next time for the NXT Rewind, and Dirt Sheet Radio will be back live when, Molly? Tomorrow night. Dirt Sheet Radio will be back live tomorrow night for the flagship show with the AEW Rewind. We'll see you then, guys. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and thank you again for tuning in.